at the end of last week, Donald Trump did a couple of executive orders that were potentially devastating to Obamacare. He wanted to make sure that if you're poor, that you are not going to get any subsidies to the insurance companies. And then that has a number of effects. It makes premiums go up, great. It gives you less money to handle those premium increases, great. And it actually also increases the deficit by $194 billion. So there's actually no reason to do it other than to dismantle Obamacare because it has no upsides. Premiums go up and the deficit goes up. It's a lose-lose proposition. And Trump pretty much admitted that that's why he's doing it. He said about his executive orders attacking the Affordable Care Act, he said, it's a step by step by step, and that was a very big step yesterday. And one by one, it's going to come down, and we're going to have great health care in our country. And he didn't mean the prices are going to come down, they're going up. He means he's going to bring Obamacare down by hook or by crook. And Eric Schneiderman is the Attorney General for the state of New York. 18 different states have now sued the Trump administration because of what they're doing to destroy the Affordable Care Act, which means that the citizens of those states will now suffer. Already, one of the executive orders is scheduled to cost 1 million people their insurance, let alone the increases in premiums. And Schneiderman said, quote, this is an effort to simply blow up the system. And then Steve Bannon goes to the so-called voter values summit, where apparently their values are to make sure people don't have insurance so they could die while pretending to be pro-life. And he pretty much admits that Schneiderman is right. In fact, almost used the same language to rub it in. Here's what he said.
Then you had Obamacare, not gonna make the CSR payments, gonna blow that thing up, gonna blow those exchanges up, right?
Yeah, blow those exchanges up so people can't get health care. What are you gonna replace it with? We don't even have a plan. We're not gonna replace it with anything. You're just not gonna have insurance, and if you do, it's gonna be really expensive. The states are suing us because they think we're blowing it up? Goddamn right we're blowing it up. Well, then people won't have health care. Who cares? I told you we'd destroy Obamacare. I told you we'd destroy everything in Obama's legacy. Steve Bannon, former chief strategist for the Trump White House, bragging about it. Trump himself basically bragging about it, which leads us to more of Donald Trump, unfortunately. Here he is at a cabinet meeting talking about this.
If I didn't cut the CSRs, they wouldn't be meeting. They'd be having lunch and enjoying themselves, all right? They're right now having emergency meetings to get a short-term fix of healthcare, where premiums don't have to double and triple every year like they've been doing under Obamacare. Because Obamacare is finished, it's dead, it's gone. It's no longer, you shouldn't even mention, it's gone. There is no such thing as Obamacare anymore.
Of course, there is such a thing as Obamacare. It's the Affordable Care Act. It is not gone, it has not been repealed. He did chip away at it in, I think, important ways. But Larry Levitt, one of the preeminent health experts in the country, wrote, I'm not sure what to call it anymore, but open enrollment starts in 2 weeks with premium subsidies and cost sharing reductions intact. So in other words, no, of course Obamacare is not dead. And you can tell when Trump's being defensive when he does this. Those senators are having meetings right now because I went to destroy the system and now they're trying to rebuild it. Oh, well, that's good for you, Donnie. You must be so proud. What is your alternative? I don't have one. Who cares? All I do is destroy things. All right, one more from Trump here.
This is an Obamacare mess. When the premiums go up, that has nothing to do with anything other than the fact that we had poor health care, delivered poorly, written poorly, approved by the Democrats. It was called Obamacare.
No. Look, Obamacare has some issues. I think it's way overcomplicated. Medicare polls at 77%, just let us in. Medicare works, just lower premiums. But did Obamacare lead to these particular premium increases? The ones that are in the news today? No, that was Donald Trump's actions. So if you said, hey, listen, the Obamacare premiums are too high in the year 2013, very fair point. If you're saying that the increases that are happening now are because of Obama, not remotely true, okay? So original projections indicated an increase of 7.6% in people's premiums. That's according to the state of Pennsylvania. And Jessica Altman, their acting insurance commissioner, says, it is with great regret that I must announce approved rates that are substantially higher than what companies initially requested. So how much higher? Well, Because of President Trump's deliberate disruption of the individual market by discontinuing cost-sharing reduction payments to insurers and Congress's inaction to appropriate these funds, rates will increase by an average of 30.6% in the individual market. Pennsylvania made the mistake of voting for Donald Trump. He just increased your premiums by 30%. Says, yes, so what? What's your alternative? I don't have one. I'm blowing it up. Pennsylvania must be so proud. Well done. But whatever you do, please don't complain about how high your premiums are, because that's what you voted for. You voted for this buffoon whose only mission was to destroy whatever Obama did. He has no plans to rebuild. He has no plans to make the premiums go down or to have more benefits for you guys. When he said everybody would be covered, it was a hilarious joke, and the joke was on you. That's the state of the country right now because of Donald Trump. TYT membership gets you commercial-free Young Turks. Download it, stream it, podcast it, get all the network shows, and support independent media. TYTnetwork.com/join.